and hello, and welcome to a different type of video. This one I've been toying with the idea of doing for a while now, and I finally committed to the preparing aspect of it. Now I just need to do the making of the video aspect of it. Now this is going to be the making of a Blu-ray review, but I won't be really using, if any, real kind of clips or anything. It's just me sat talking about making a video. So this might be the most boring thing in the world to you. If that's the case, that's fine. Feel free to check out. It's all good. I just thought this would be interesting, both from just a documenting point of view, but also from a productivity point of view. So the last Blu-ray review that I've edited and released on my channel is for the film A Man Called Tiger, 1973, Lo Wei film, Jimmy Wong Yu. And I was very happy with it. I thought the video was very good. But as I was preparing to make it, I thought, why don't I document how long it takes me to do absolutely every aspect of the video on this, including the watching of everything, every minute spent. So I put a stopwatch on, and every time I did a certain specific thing, I would then note it down to see how long it takes to make an average Blu-ray review video. And I would say that the video that I turned out for this was fairly average in terms of like length. I think it was a little bit longer than most of them sometimes, because I kind of had a lot to say and was really passionate about it. But it's a fair kind of film to pick as an average kind of Blu-ray review as far as my kind of production is concerned. So I've noted it down on WordPad on my laptop, and I have the list on my phone here. And I'm just going to read through it and kind of talk you through some of the elements of what it takes. And this may come across as me going like, well, look how much effort I put into my videos. It's not that at all. Okay, it's totally that. And I judge every single one of you who make lackluster, poorly constructed, easily, quickly, cheaply pumped out content that I judge. And I judge deeply. Okay, not really. That was just a bit of fun there, bit of satire, I don't know what it's satirizing, but just a bit of humor. We're all fine here now. How are you? No, it really isn't meant to be kind of a showing off kind of thing. It's more just, I actually feel like it shouldn't take me this long, but I will say, having the pressure of timing everything and noting it down made me work faster. I'm not going to do this, well, again, really. So the next one will probably take me longer because I won't have that kind of in my head. But I just thought it would be interesting to kind of see how long does it actually take me to make one of these videos where I put in a lot of clips and things like that. And, we'll talk about it. So first of all, and actually, before we get into it, why don't you, in the comments, post how long you think it took me to make how long was the video. That's probably important as well. This is a video with clips and with footage from the movie, from the extras, cutaway shots of the Blu-ray itself. It was 43 minutes 39 seconds. Did pretty well for views as well, 351 views. Some of my Blu-ray reviews just don't get many, like my Wolves, Pigs and Men video. That was Blu-ray review number 41, 200 views, 50 minutes long. I spent so much time on that, but that's okay. I know the name of the game. So anyway, let's get into how long it took me, and you can kind of guess before I kind of dive into it. So first and foremost, the film itself, viewing it, and then both commentaries. Now I listened to the commentaries not while watching the film, but it's still time spent listening to 2-hour long commentaries. Although it was just under 2 hours. So for the film, both commentaries, that's 5 hours and 36 minutes spent. I skimmed through the export cut of the film to see some of the differences. I wasn't going to sit down and watch the whole thing. That took me 15 minutes. Then I watched the trailer, the theatrical trailer. I always enjoy those. That took me 3 minutes. The featurette on the hidden subtitles, I think it's called. It might even be called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Subtitles, which was a piece put together by Brandon Bentley. That was 7 minutes. Textless opening credits of the film, that was 2 minutes. I watched that and kind of enjoyed it. Both Kawaii Okada songs, as performed in the film, have their own separate videos and kind of almost music video style presentations on the disc. That was 4 minutes for both of those. Then it's actually getting the clips. So sourcing the time codes for the clips and also taking stills. So for this one, I was like, right, I'm just going to like take stills from the movie. So it involves ripping the Blu-ray disc, which takes maybe an hour, hour and 15 minutes. I'm not counting that as part of the time because all I have to do is just click, burn, or just rip. So I ripped the disc to my computer, and then I got everything, all the film, all the extras and everything. But from there, I have everything in MKV format, which is a container format. So I can't really load that into my editing software to just start playing around with it. I need to then convert it to something else. Now, what I started doing in the early days of the Blu-ray review videos is I would rip the disc, and then overnight I would convert the entire movie to MP4. And then when editing, I'd have the whole movie in my project timeline. I'd just be like cutting bits out and bringing them back and forth, back and forth. And I just felt like maybe if I just went through the film and just found specific clips, it would be a more focused experience in the editing. And I always over prepare, and I have way too many clips than I actually realistically need, but I always want to try and cover everything that I can. And I feel like that's kind of a flaw. I think I include too many clips, and anytime I mention anything about the plot of the movie, I want to have a clip that corresponds to that and illustrates that. And I love doing that, and I don't know if people really watch the videos or enjoy that aspect of it, but I personally enjoy that aspect of it. Anyway, so sourcing the time codes involves going through the whole film, scanning through it. I don't watch the film. And I scan through, and I find bits that I think I want to use that, I might use that. And I write down a long list of all the time codes, okay? And then this time I thought I would use more just still images rather than clips, but I ended up using all the clips and a few still images as well. So go through the whole film, get some images and stuff, get the time codes, and that took me an hour and 5 minutes. Making the intro title card. So for every intro to a RazorwireReviews video, I have the same clip from a movie that people keep asking me about, and if you really want to know where it's from, just stay tuned, and someday you will find out. It will be explained, and you will see it. But there's a quote at the beginning, at the bottom of the screen. So there's a new quote for every single video. So I have to load up all my templates in Photoshop, put in the new quote, save it, go to my project file, save out the new intro. That took me 3 minutes. Setting up the project file on my editing software, importing the raw footage and audio from the recording of my review itself, which I don't know if I've actually put into this whole thing. That is a fatal flaw. Wow. Anyway, so let's just assume at this point I've filmed the video, okay? So that feels like something I should have put in. Why didn't I put that in there? Maybe I decided to record everything and the timing after I'd filmed the video. We'll circle back around to that at the end. So, setting up a project file in the editing suite. Importing all my raw footage and the audio, which are two separate files. I use my camera and a microphone, which you can maybe hear me tap my finger on there. And then I make a sync file. So I link the audio from this to this. Well, you wouldn't hear me tapping that because the camera audio is gone. So I sync them up. I then have to adjust them because the microphone audio is ever so imperceptibly either shorter or longer than the camera audio. So I need to just kind of slightly bend the file, so to speak. And then I link them, get rid of the camera audio. Then I have my sync file. That took me 4 minutes. Then I load all the time codes from the film into Handbrake, a program to convert them all. So that's a pretty laborious process of going like 001334 to 001359 or whatever, and then there's a queue system, so I keep loading the clips into the queue. That took me 13 minutes, and then I just hit render all or convert all, and it'll start chugging through all of that. It takes quite a while actually, but that doesn't count as a time either. 13 minutes to load all those in. Then I realized that I wanted to source a clip from the re-release cut, and then clips from the extras. And then I just decided, as far as the extras were concerned, because they were quite short on this release, to just convert them wholesale. So the theatrical trailer, the hidden subtitles featurette, I just converted them as is without taking clips. If there's like a 30-minute interview, I'm just going to want a minute of it or something. But in this case, I just decided to do all of them. And then I wanted a clip from the re-release version of the film. So that took me 2 minutes. Then importing all the clips into Vegas, clips from the movie. I think there was about 50 of them. Adjusting the size manually per clip. Disabling the resample per clip. Falling asleep while I was doing it and having to recheck everything. So there's this feature on my editing suite where it tries to it forces this resample thing, which gives everything kind of a ghostly appearance, like a ghosting effect. So I need to turn that off. And there is a way to do it for the whole project, but I get really anal about it and I want to do it on every single clip just to make sure. So I do that, and that altogether took me 28 minutes. And also importing the clips in and kind of adjusting the size, meaning because I have like them in a little box with kind of the drop shadow behind it, which I do manually on my editing suite. So I like to do that because initially it was kind of a copyright thing, but I also just like the look of it, I think. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a style that stuck and I enjoy it. Maybe other people don't. I don't know. Maybe I'll change it in the future. I don't know. But I like it as it is now. But there's also kind of the worry that what if I end up hating it down the line and I have all this stuff that I've spent so much time on and it all looks like that. Anyway, so that took 20 minutes. Then there is looking for stills in terms of like stills of like Bruce Lee, because there's the Bruce Lee connection with that film. So looking for stills that aren't from the Blu-ray set, and then giving them a transparent PNG copy in Photoshop, and then adding a drop shadow. That took me 5 minutes with a few different pictures. Then I had to set up my lights and filmed cutaways of the Blu-ray, kind of close-up kind of clips, and then loaded all that footage onto the computer and then into the project file, and then put all my lights away. That whole process took 21 minutes. Going back to the audio commentary of the Blu-ray to get some clips that I wanted to include, and an extra clip from the movie from the dice game in the third act of the film that I'd failed to get the first time round. That all took me 11 minutes. Then the Brandon Bentley extra, the hidden subtitles featurette, I had converted that whole like 7-minute thing, and hadn't paid close enough attention to the cropping feature on Handbrake, and so it cropped the top and the bottom because it looked at some of the movie clips and assumed that that was the ratio for the entire video when it wasn't. So I had to re-render that. That took me 1 minute in terms of setting it up and letting it go. The trailer was also cropped, so I needed to re-encode the clip that I wanted to use. That took 2 minutes to set up. Then there was the editing, the actual nuts and bolts of editing the whole thing together. So including checking the render once it was done and going through the video and deciding to make a few changes. There was a repeated image that I used twice, so I replaced that with something else. There was a dark image that needed to be brightened up a bit to look a bit better in the final video. A clip was lengthened because it was a little bit too short, and some text that I'd used lingered a few frames after where it was supposed to. So it's like an imperceptible mistake, but I saw it and it bothered me and I needed to change it. So all of that with the editing itself took 5 hours and 5 minutes. No, the editing took 5 hours and 5 minutes, and all that stuff I just mentioned of checking for like changes and then re-rendering, that took 33 minutes. So yes, I'm not counting the rendering time at all in this. So all that checking and kind of finessing and rendering again and finding other mistakes, that took 33 minutes of work. Then I had to make the thumbnail for the video. That took me 24 minutes. Sometimes I really struggle with that, and sometimes I have the Blu-ray cover in the middle with an image on each side, and I want the Blu-ray cover nice and big so you can see it, like when you scroll through and it catches your attention, but then it doesn't leave a whole lot of room on the left and right for like really visually striking images. Sometimes I put the Blu-ray to the side and have something more in the middle. In this case, I really liked how this turned out, and it flowed really well. Sometimes it takes me like an hour to do the thumbnail. I just can't find something that feels right. Even down to even the text of the color of the text at the bottom of the screen, Blu-ray review. I sometimes change that around, and it's tough to satisfy my own kind of tastes, I guess. But making the thumbnail took 24 minutes. Uploading the video obviously doesn't count towards the time I've spent, but doing the description of the upload and then tweaking the thumbnail because it looked a little bit not how I wanted it when it was on YouTube, so I changed that. That was 7 minutes. Posting it to social media and doing those things, that took 2 minutes. And then there was a couple of what I've referred to here as director's cut changes. That took me 6 minutes. So there's a couple of things where I wanted to change something at the last minute, but the video was already uploaded and I didn't want to take it down again. So for my own personal archive, I made a couple more alterations that, again, were probably so small you'd never notice them. So all of that whole process was 899 minutes, just shy of 15 hours bell to bell. 15 hours to make that video with everything included. Apparently not the filming. So the final video was 43 minutes. Often I kind of trail off a bit and then I start again and I kind of edit those bits out, obviously. Not a lot, you know. I do these videos in one take. I have notes that I kind of stick to the tripod. I didn't used to do that, but with so much stuff in these Blu-rays, I like to kind of be thorough. And so I have kind of just a basic guide of like things to remember to talk about. So I don't write what I say, I just write down like this thing was good on that or that scene. Remember to talk about that scene. So, and that's probably part of the kind of the process of going through the extras and stuff that I didn't also note down is I write down the notes for it. So maybe the writing down of the notes as I went along, maybe you could say reasonably as far as the actual writing of it, maybe like 5-10 minutes. Let's just say 10 minutes to be on the safe side. And then, you know, setting up the camera and the lights and stuff, that can take sometimes 5 to 10 minutes. Let's say 5 minutes, so 15. Then the filming of the video is 43 minutes. I can guarantee you the raw footage is probably about 55 minutes, maybe an hour. Let's say 55. So yeah, so 55 plus 15 would be another hour and 10 minutes. So about 16 hours overall. So 16 hours to make the review of A Man Called Tiger. Now you go watch the video and tell me if that was worth it, if that was worth my time. Some of them have taken much longer. Some of them have taken a fair bit less. But that is roughly the average time I spend on a Blu-ray review video. And yeah, I do feel like sometimes I should change the format and just don't use clips, don't use, you know, images, and then I could make so many more of them and I could roll them out so quickly, you know what I mean? And it's just like, that's kind of the struggle, but I feel great satisfaction, maybe not pride, but satisfaction when I make a video like that I feel like I've put so much work into, and the final result is, I think, really good. Now that's completely separate from what I'm saying in the video. Like, I don't feel like my videos are bad, although I'm completely incompetent in talking about films or anything, but I do feel like, regardless of whether I'm doing a brilliant verbal review of the film or anything, I'm at least saying words that make sense and have context to what I'm talking about. But as far as the visual side of it and the way it sounds, the way it looks, even though I'm not a fan of how I look, at least I think it's fairly decent. You know, the framing and stuff, and well, I'm never happy with the way the shelves look and kind of the odd angles sometimes or whatever. That's why I actually film at an angle, not straight on, because the shelves aren't level, because the floor isn't level in this room. And I've really tried to make that level, but it's just not happening. So I always film at slightly at an angle. And also the floor is uneven, so the camera's never fully, So shooting at an angle here kind of helps me cover that thing up a little bit. But yeah. But so yeah, at least it's not, it's not like badly lit or poorly sounding or anything like that. It could always be better, of course. And I'm just gonna really make some pleasant audio there to adjust the microphone as I'm talking about the audio. But I don't know, it feels like a small accomplishment to me. A little accomplishment every time I make a Blu-ray review video and it's finished, because I feel like there's sufficient work that's gone in. And I'm happy with the way it looks with clips and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I wish I could do that full time. I'd love it, but it will never be viable. It's never been an option or a goal for me, so that's fine. But yeah, it can be difficult. And so that was what we were saying. So 16 hours. That's like what? 2 work shifts, And I don't have that time to spare often, but it takes me longer because I won't say, well, I don't know. I'm fairly certain I have ADHD. That's the thing. The form that manifests itself in the attention deficit, not the hyperactivity part of the disorder. There's just so many things that make too much sense about how fucking weird I am. And I know that it almost feels like it's in vogue now to be like, oh, I have ADHD, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, you're self-diagnosed. I'm telling you, like, I almost don't need the diagnosis to know that that's part of my brain chemistry. But the procrastination is lethal when you're sat at a laptop which has access to the internet, in which everything ever is at your fingertips. But often I'm just refreshing the same shit I'm always on, as if expecting different results. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, the definition of insanity. And it feels like that sometimes. But I feel like if I didn't have that, I could probably be so much more productive. But doing this and kind of noting down all the time codes and everything of everything I was doing, it gave me a push to keep going, and let's note down the next one. And it was kind of a fun little project. So the next one won't be as fun because I don't have the project of kind of writing down all the stuff. But maybe I could just keep doing it like that, and then kind of compare down the line and see if the time changes. I don't know. I probably won't do that. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, so I just thought it might be an interesting insight into how I make a video like that. Even if you're not really, again, it's just me talking about it. Let me know if you like this sort of thing. You probably, I can't see many people liking it. Often when I talk about this sort of stuff, it's kind of crickets and the tumbleweed starts rolling. But I enjoy talking about it, and I enjoyed noting it down and documenting it, and that is what it takes to make a bog standard RazorwireReviews Blu-ray review video. And really, like 10-12 years ago, I really wanted to make the Blu-ray review a staple of my channel. And I actually did kind of an earlier series called Blu-ray Review. The first one was Donnie Brasco. I did a whole skit recreating the movie with two versions of myself. That was a really good video, I thought, at the time anyway. Yeah, I'll tell you something. If I don't get this boat for Lefty... What? Forget about it? Fucking forget about it. But I set the bar too high for myself straight away. That's kind of how it goes. And I feel like the same with this one. So the first one I did for this, well, the second one, was The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I poured so much into that video that I felt like I'd set a precedent that was going to be dangerous moving forward, because I was going to need to put a lot of effort into everyone after that. So I have started to mix things up by doing kind of Blu-ray overview videos where I'm talking about the film and the actors and everything, but I'm not going like fully comprehensively in depth. I'll leave that info free. And that seems to work out, and those videos get more views anyway because the thumbnail is me going like this. And it draws more views, Whereas with the Blu-ray reviews, I just have the Blu-ray like that in the front, and then some images like I've already talked about with the thumbnail, and those thumbnails don't grab as much attention, but I like making them, and it feels more prestige if I do that. It feels like I earn the views. It's more well earned if I get someone to watch a video that doesn't have me mugging in the thumbnail. Like, I don't quite go that far, but it's not too far removed. That's the name of the game sometimes. I know I could make my channel so much more successful if I just had every video of me being like, watch this video, like this is super intense. Like the 4K videos, the 4K rants that I've been doing, where I am in my mind justifiably in the thumbnail like this, because that's how I feel, and you're making clickbait videos. It's just like, well, every video in a sense is clickbait because you want people to click on it, and you're making a thumbnail that's attractive or a title that makes people want to click on it. And there are some people who just make their videos and they just post them. They don't really care about anything, and in that sense, those videos aren't clickbait. But people like me who, make a lot of videos and things and want people to watch them and you want comments, you want discussions and stuff like that. Yeah, it is in some sense clickbait. But in those instances, I really wanted to talk about the 4K releases, and I really was passionate about it, and it warranted a kind of crazy thumbnail, Anyways, it's just a commentary on, how certain videos get more views than others based on the superficial kind of front of store kind of display, so to speak. Anyway, that has been the making of Blu-ray review number 42, I believe it was. kind of thought, should I do a special one for 50? I was like, wow, let's you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.